Half a day students, I am Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. You all have been through a year of big changes. We've had to adapt and make big changes to keep our families and our island safe. But with change comes opportunity and a chance to try new things like PBS University. While Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and I will continue to do our part to keep our island safe, you students have a part to play as well. Your part is to keep learning and to keep up with your lessons. That's why I am happy to see you here ready to learn with PBS University. PBS University is a way to bring a continuous educational curriculum to you while you stay safe at home during this time. To help you keep up with your studies, we asked our friends at PBS Guam and the Guam Department of Education to put together this episode. Thank you for doing your part and have a great lesson.
PBS University is a program by PBS Guam and the Guam Department of Education in conjunction with public school teachers. These lessons are created to provide both parents and students with a unique educational experience while helping students to continue learning at home. PBS University, next on PBS Guam.
1, 2, 3, 4. Come along, let's sing a song. We'll have a great adventure. Today's the day, let's learn and play. We'll have a great adventure. Numbers, letters, science things, all that we can do. Help you deal with how you feel. Share with us too. It's super cool and just like school, our awesome learning adventures. So grab a friend, the fun will end. Our awesome learning adventures. Awesome learning adventures with PBS University.
Half a day and ni hao, which means hello in Chinese. I'm Mrs. Borja, your 3rd through 5th grade literacy teacher. I love reading, writing, and having fun, and I hope you do too, because here we go! Today, we're going to talk about making inferences. Making inferences kind of sounds like a hard thing to do, but it's really easy. No, really. In fact, it's something you do all the time. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to say, I can make inferences to understand a text. Imagine you have plans to walk over to the mall tomorrow and hang out with your friends and watch a movie. But when you look out the window, the sky is dark and cloudy. What do you think you might do next? Bring an umbrella? Yeah. Oh, wear a jacket. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Ask someone to drop you off instead of walking? Those all sound like great ideas. But where did those ideas come from? They came from making inferences. When we infer, we make a reasonable guess based on the information provided to us and our personal knowledge. The pieces of information provided in this example are our plans to walk to the mall and a dark, cloudy sky. Our personal knowledge is that it's kind of far to walk to the mall, and a dark, cloudy sky could mean rain. So when we put that information together, we infer that we might get rained on while walking to the mall, and that maybe we should rethink our plan a little. Now that we understand what it means to make an inference a little better, let's talk about how we can use that skill when we're reading. We make inferences when we read a text by taking the information provided or what we see in the text and our personal knowledge or what we already know about the text, to understand, make reasonable guesses, or answer questions. Got it? Well, let's practice. Nick picks a pet. Nick and his dad walked into the building. He had been waiting for this day for a whole year. His parents wanted him to prove how responsible he could be before letting him adopt a pet. There were so many adorable animals in need of a home. Nick spent time with several animals before he found the perfect one. He was brown and fluffy, jumped right into Nick's arms and licked his face. "Come on, Peanut," Nick said happily. "Let's go home." Let's make more inferences and answer these two questions. Where does the story take place, and what kind of animal did Nick adopt? So, where do you think this story takes place? An animal shelter. And I think I heard somebody say the pound. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because in the text, they went somewhere to adopt a pet, and we know that's where you go to adopt pets. Good job. So, what kind of animal did Nick adopt? Usually, you can adopt cats or dogs from places like this. Which one do you think Nick picked? Some of the information provided to us is that the animal jumped into his arms and started licking his face. Now, either animal can do that, but which do you know is more likely to? I think you're right. I think Nick picked a dog. Let's do one more. One morning, while Michelle was walking down the sidewalk, she noticed a little boy at the bottom of the hill. His bike was laying on the ground next to him, and he was grabbing his ankle. As she got closer, she could see that the boy was crying. Michelle quickly went to get her dad to come help. Michelle and her dad were helping him up just as a woman came running down the driveway. "Noah, are you okay? Thank goodness you had your helmet on." Now we're going to focus on 3 questions. What happened to the boy in this story? Who was the woman at the end of the story? And where does this story take place? What happened to the boy? A boy fell off his bike and got hurt. Right. What gave us that idea? Yes, his bike was laying on the ground next to him, and he was grabbing his ankle and crying. And we know that grabbing a body part like that while crying usually means something is wrong and someone is hurt. So when we put all that information together, we infer that the boy probably fell off his bike and hurt his ankle. Where does this story take place? It seems pretty likely that this story takes place in a neighborhood and not at a hotel or a beach or something, because Michelle and Noah are kids, and we know that kids usually play in their neighborhood and near their house and yards and driveways. Also, Michelle went and got her dad pretty quickly, and Noah's mom came running down a driveway, so that means that their parents were close enough to come and help them out. Great job today. Catch me again next week, and we'll hang out and learn more and have lots more fun. Until then, be good, read books. Bye.
Hello and half a day, everyone. Welcome to PBS University. Half a day. We hear that a lot, but do you know what it means? Yes, half a day is how we say hello in Chamorro. I'm Mr. B, and I am so excited that you're here for another awesome 3rd through 5th grade math adventure. Now, if you remember last time, we showed how addition is connected to multiplication. Today, let's learn more about multiplication. Here is our I can statement. I can use arrays to solve multiplication problems. Now, the first thing we need to do is understand what arrays are. So let's do that. Arrays are models that show us how many in all. You make the model by arranging objects, pictures, or shapes in rows and columns that match a multiplication problem or equation. Arrays have two parts. And from the definition that we just gave, can you name them? Yes, the two parts of an array are rows and columns. The rows go from side to side, and the columns go down. Columns also tell us how many items or objects are in each row. Okay, great. Now we know a little more about arrays. But how do we use them? Okay, let's say we want to know what 3 times 5 is. We can use an array to help us. In a multiplication number sentence, the first number will tell us how many rows there are. The second number will tell us how many columns there are. In our example, 3 times 5 means 3 rows and 5 columns, or 3 rows of 5. What would our model look like? How about we use squares for our array? Well, we need 3 rows of 5, so here's 1 row of 5, 2 rows of 5, and 3 rows of 5. Cool. All right, the next step, that's super simple. All you have to do is count the squares. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let me give you a minute to count. So how many squares are there? Did you count 15 squares? Nice, you did it. You used an array to show that 3 times 5 equals 15. And that's all there is to using arrays. Let's practice some more, okay? Who's up for a little game? All right, I call this game Spot the Array. You know, there are arrays everywhere. Take a look at these pictures and see if you can spot them. Hey, remember those cookies that I made last time? Do you see the array? How many rows and columns are there? Right, there are 4 rows and 5 columns. And do you remember how to make the number sentence? Okay, it's 4 times 5 equals what? Well, if we count the cookies, we'll find that 4 times 5 equals 20. How about in this picture? Do you see that the concrete posts are arranged in an array? Yeah, there's 1 row of 7. Or we can also say 1 times 7 equals 7. Ooh, check out this huge array. How many rows and columns are there here? Did you count 8 rows of 8? That's right. And when you take the time to count all the windows, you'll find that 8 times 8 equals 64. Now, earlier I said that there are arrays everywhere. I mean, check out this remote control. Do you see that these buttons form an array? This part right here, it has 4 rows of 3. Now go ahead and make the number sentence. You got it. The number sentence is 4 times 3 equals 12. I'll bet you didn't know you could practice multiplication with a remote control, huh? You know, it looks like you all are becoming masters at spotting arrays. All you have to do is look around, and I'm sure you'll find so many more. But more importantly, you know how to use them. Well, that's all the time we have for today. But please, come back and join me, Mr. B, for another awesome learning adventure. Stay safe, everyone.
Hola, boys and girls! Welcome back to PBS University. Hola means hello in Spanish. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Mrs. Christine Palma, and I will be your 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade science teacher. Last week, we talked about ecosystems. Do you remember the diorama of the rainforest ecosystem we built together? It's right here. If you recall, ecosystems include living things and non-living things that interact in an environment. The non-living things are the water, the soil, the air, the sunlight, the climate, and the land formations. And the living things are the animals, the plants, the fungi, the algae, and even the bacteria. In today's lesson, we are going to put the living organisms into 3 categories: the producers, the consumers, and the decomposers. We will talk about the 3 different types of consumers and then we will make something called a food chain. But first, let's talk about the sun. Did you know that every little thing in our planet Earth gets energy from the sun? It's pretty amazing what the sun can do. The sun creates 2 different kinds of energy, light and heat. One of the ways we harness the sun's solar energy is through a process called photosynthesis. Can you say photosynthesis? Very good! Photosynthesis is a process that means that green plants use the sunlight, water, and a gas called carbon dioxide to make its own food for energy. In turn, the plants help us out by releasing another gas called oxygen. All right, everybody, let's all take a deep breath in 3, 2, 1. And breathe out. The air you breathed in is called oxygen, and the air you released is called carbon dioxide. All animals and humans release carbon dioxide. So the more trees we have, the more oxygen we can get. This brings us to our first category, producers. Trees and grasses are called the producers. Producers are like chefs of the ecosystem. They take in all of the non-living matter like water, nutrients in the soil, carbon dioxide released by animals and humans, and the energy from the sun to make its own food during photosynthesis. Remember, producers make its own food. The next category of living things in an ecosystem are called the consumers. Consumers can't make their own food like the producers can. They have to eat or consume other organisms. There are 3 types of consumers. The first is called an herbivore. It is pronounced with a silent H. Herbivore. Herbivores are animals that mainly eat plants. They also eat leaves, flowers, seeds, roots, and many other things that don't breathe. The second type is called a carnivore. They are animals that eat mainly meat, including insects and bugs. Ugh. Examples are tigers, lions, cats, crocodiles, sharks, birds of prey like eagles and owls, and a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I think he really is a carnivore. The last one is called an omnivore. An omnivore eats both plants and animals for energy. Can you give me examples of an omnivore? Perfect! We have bears, raccoons, monkeys, chickens, pigs, and Mrs. Palma. Are you an omnivore too?
Let's review, boys and girls. Producers make their own food, and consumers eat other organisms. Now it's time to find out what the decomposers are in charge of. The sun gives energy to the producers, which are the plants or trees. Combined with water, plants are able to produce its own food through photosynthesis so that it can grow, make fruits, and be food for other animals like grasshoppers, a primary consumer and herbivore. Then, a second consumer like a rat, an omnivore, will eat the grasshopper. Then maybe a tertiary consumer, a snake, will eat the rat. Then, another tertiary consumer, a carnivore like an eagle, will swoop down and probably eat the snake. Wait a minute. Then what eats the eagle? The eagle is now called the top predator. A top predator means that nothing else eats them in their ecosystem. So, when do decomposers come in? Aha! Yes, the uneaten stuff any animal leaves behind is broken down by tiny insects and bacteria into smaller, simple matter. And that gets put back into the ground as nutrients so that it can be used by plants or trees.
I have a challenge for you, Smarty Pants. Are you able to create a food chain where the killer whale is the top predator? Ask a friend or an adult around you to help you out. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I hope you had a lot of fun learning about the food chain and how living things and non-living things work together in an environment. Thank you so much for joining me today, and remember, you are so smart, you are so awesome, and you are so special. Have a wonderful day and adios!
Hafa students, welcome to PBS University. My name is John Fernandez, and I'm the superintendent of the Guam Department of Education. These PBS University lessons are made to help you to continue learning. The teachers here prepared fun lessons on science, character education, math, English, and more, and they made it for you, the students of Guam. We're very grateful to them for their instruction. We're also thankful for you students, parents, and guardians who are watching. Remember, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you soon in the next school year. Thank you.
Half a day, that is hello in Chamorro. Welcome everyone to Mrs. Gianchan's Social Studies class, grades 3 through 5th. Today we are going to learn about legends, the legends of Guam, one in particular. Guam's legends are beautiful. They tell about stories of love and family, and I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we can move forward, we need to make sure we are ready. In order to be ready, make sure you have your materials. Make sure to have a notebook and a pencil to take some notes so that we remember what we learn. So our I can statements today, and you can write this down in your notebook, are I can identify a Guam legend. I can share with others that Guam legend. And maybe number 3, I can identify and explain the lesson of the legend. Legends on Guam are a big part of the Chamorro culture. Legends are usually told through oral history, which means they are told through song and dance and music and storytelling. Now, the legends on Guam usually tell about love, respect for the land and sea, the strength of the Chamorro people, and maybe spirits around the island. Some particular legends that I've heard of are the legend of Mount Lamlam, Punta dos Amantes, the legend of the Tautamona, and my particular favorite, the legend of Sirena. The legend of Sirena will be a story that I want to share with you today because it is one of my favorite stories. In fact, it was the first legend I heard while growing up on island. Now, this story is about a mermaid. Now, how does one become a mermaid? Does one naturally become a mermaid from swimming in the sea? Let's go find out and see if there's a lesson in this legend. Let's have a listen.
Oh, SU Guam bus.
Atmam na Chempotati, antes di guerra Giza Hagaya, y mas donkulo na song Giza Guam. Estaba un Palawan inaanya si Sirena. Gef pagod en cariñosa na sotera si Sirena. Hagof guaidza y familianya, nanyaga siha gifio nun tolay atsu Giza Hagaya. Guanabiay tigof oskun si Sirena. Sa fihu linalat di gwe as nananya. Sa tiatsogwe itarehanya gi halam zan hujung gima. Tia hasungan si Sirena muna lalolu nananya. Lawana biahi tia hahasu i matagotnya sa tinani gwe i munyanyango. Enawi mas zanya si Sirena. Munyanyango gitasi zan sadok i papa itelay. Ungofha ana diha tatlo i nanan Sirena hatago i haganya putirehan guma. Prometi si Sirena ina nanya ti ponyango este kimonazan itsetso guma. Lawan ay mamomokat si Sirena gi sengsong gigon haripara tatlo itelay gi hiloi satok kineni gwe sa lumiof gi holami hap. Ponyango gwe gofama malingo gi minagofnya malefa gwe puri prenametinya. And ay esta tumutuno ki ata kumekwento si nananya zani matlinan Sirena. Kofla lalo i nana nui haganya. Sa San Malago gwi kumastiga si Sirena. Ileknya angan gof zanya i hagahu munyango sa tizanyo matendi itsetsoguma kwas mauleknya gwihan gwi kino tauta. Isinanganya hamadisi si Sirena sa mumagahit i mala isehanya. Kumematmo si Sirena sa dumididi kumigwihan itatataunya. Lo timakpo istorya gwana na imatlina hahungo kimatishon hasangani nanan Sirena i hagamo i hagahu lakwe na mitai zoko tisinya un matisi enaw napakte. Sa destiadzo na momento na mitagwihan sa na mitagtautaw si Sirena. Tristi si Sirena sa hadingo i familianya so inamagof gwi lokwe sa kumamagas gwi itasi. Pagu Guiza Ukraina itasin guahan. Sa todo igwihan maooski itinagotnya.
The Legend of Sirena. Wasn't that an awesome story? I believe it's going to be one of your personal favorites one day too. Now, did you figure out what the moral of the story is? If you thought that the moral of the story or lesson of the story is to obey your parents or respect your elders, you are correct. That is a big part of Guam's culture, is embracing and respecting our elders and our community. Now, if you would like to know more about Guam's cultures or legends, you can always check out your local library or Guampedia. Those are excellent resources to learn more about our island and the cultures that we have here. So, till next time, let's embrace cultural diversity by learning more about the cultures on our island. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Take care and adios.
Mabuhay! That means hello in Tagalog. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Miss Torres, your 5th grade teacher with PBS University. So glad you could join us today as we continue to learn how to build character. Let's start today's lesson with our I can statement. I can identify ways to build character. In episode 1, we learned that positive and negative qualities shape our character. We also learned that the decisions we make in situations we're faced with determine the qualities that we have. Let's review some of the positive qualities we talked about last week. Kindness, caring, honesty, being responsible, even being courageous. How about those negative qualities? Unfair, bossy, and selfish. Which qualities would you like to shape your character? Positive qualities? Me too. As we continue to learn how to build character, it's really important to understand why character itself is important. 2 things come to mind. For me, it's the way the world sees us, but also the way we see the world and how we react. Have you ever heard the saying, put your best foot forward? What positive quality do you think you might need to be able to do this? I love it. Being respectful. First, you've got to be able to respect yourself to be able to do the best you can, and you want to be able to respect others to do the best for them as well. Great job. How about the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? What positive quality do you think you might need for that one? Yeah, that one's a little bit tough. How about I give you some help? Being fair. We really don't know what goes on in other people's lives if we don't really know them. So how can we judge them? Would you want someone judging you if they didn't know you that well? Yeah, I think being fair is the good way to go. Let's try this activity. It's called the magic box. So I'd like for everyone to pretend you've got a magic box. Okay, a magic box. Let's pretend. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple of scenarios, situations that we have to decide how we're going to deal with them. Okay, as I read the situation, think, how would you first react negatively? And then how would you react positively? Okay, you've got to listen carefully. All right, so let's start with scenario number 1. Here it is, scenario number 1. Here it is, scenario number 1. It's your turn to take Bubbles, your class hamster, home for the weekend. You've been waiting for 6 weeks for it to be your turn. But at the last minute, your classmate Lisa is given Bubbles to take home. Everyone knows it's her last day of school on Monday because she's moving off island. Okay, here we go. Pull out your magic box. Reach in. Pull out a negative quality. I've got mine. What's yours? Oh, I see somebody's upset. Ooh, somebody's kind of angry. Mine? Oh, yeah, I'm kind of upset too. But what are we going to do with this negative quality? What are we going to do? You know what? We're going to make it fly. So take it like a frisbee and throw it away. Whoosh! Bye. See you later. So now, let's go back to our magic box. Now this time, let's pull out a positive quality. Okay, I got mine. How about you? Oh, I love it. Caring? Ooh, that's a good one. Flexibility. That's a definite good one. Didn't think of that. Oh, what's mine? Understanding. Yeah, she's leaving off island, so I understand why they'd want to give her a chance. So you know what we're going to do with these positive qualities? We're going to keep them. We're going to keep them to help build our character, right? Awesome. Okay, let's do scenario number 2. Got it right here. Ready? Listen carefully. Yes! You just got the present that you've been waiting for your birthday. It's a ripstick. It's the best day ever. Uh-oh. It was. Mom said the store was out of helmets and knee pads, and the agreement was you would only ride your ripstick if you were wearing safety gear. You have to wait a few more days until the shipment comes in. Okay, pull out our magic box. Grab a negative consequence. Sorry, a negative quality. Pull it out. I got mine. Oh, yikes, some of you are upset. Yep, some of you are angry. You're right, it's your birthday. Me? Well, I'm disappointed. I am. What are we going to do with those negative consequences? Are we going to keep them? No, you're right. We're going to make them fly. There we go. Ready? Whoosh. Bye. See ya. Okay. Go into your magic box again. Go into your magic box again. Okay, I'm going to pull mine out. Okay, I got it. Got it. Oh, you're having a little bit of a hard time with this one? Okay, I'll share mine. So I have patience. Yeah, you know what? I think it's okay. I mean, I really want to ride my ripstick now, but I think I'm okay to wait for a few days because I think I want to be safe. And I also want to make my mom happy too, right? So I'm going to be a little bit patient. So I'm going to keep my patience. You can keep it too if you'd like, or if you know another one, so that we can build positive character. That is awesome. So what do you think the magic box activity was trying to teach us? Yeah, depending on the situation, you know, you don't have to always think negatively. You can always change it up to a positive reaction, right? And what do we want to build our character with? Our positive qualities. So just because you react first with a negative quality doesn't mean you can't take it and fly it away. We don't want to keep those. We want to keep the ones that will build positivity in us, right? As we end our time together today, I'd like to challenge you. The next time you're put in front of a situation and you've got to make a decision, try choosing a positive quality rather than a negative quality. So until next time, bye.
A uno, a dos, a uno, dos, tres. It's Chamorro time in PBS University. It's Chamorro time in PBS University. It's Chamorro time in PBS University. Half a day, everyone. My name is Senor Al, and with us today is
Inatan.
Woohoo! Today, we are going to learn about the people in our community. Tautau Comunidad. Can you say that, Inatan?
Tautau Comunidad.
Maulik. Tautau Comunidad are the people in our community. And the first Tautau Comunidad in our community that we're going to learn is Pescador.
Pescador.
Malik, Inatan, just from my actions, what do you think a pescador is?
A fisherman?
Hungan dinansi. Malik, a pescador is a fisherman. Número dos na Tautau Comunidad is enfermera.
Enfermera.
Hungan, what do you think an enfermera is?
A nurse.
Hungan, Infant manna, because when you're sick, right? You go to the infant manna. All right. Número 3. Na tauta comunidad y maestra.
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 Unga di Nancy. What do you think a maestra is?
A president?
All right. It's not a president. I'm sorry.
Is it a...
Okay. She writes on the board. She works at school.
I know, a teacher.
Hungan. Maestra is a teacher. Our number 4 is Lanceru.
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 What do you think a Lanceru is?
Oh, I know, a farmer.
Hungan di Nancy. Lancero means farmer. And our last tauta comunidad is a secretaria.
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 What do you think a secretaria is? Listen, she's on the computer. She answers the phone. She's in the office. Secretaria is a secretary.
Oh.
Secretary means secretaria. Now, let's learn some adjectives so that we can create simple sentences using the tauta comunidad.
Ooh, that sounds fun. Let's do it.
Awesome. The first adjective I want to teach you today is called hihut.
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 All right, imagine this is your car and this is the building. When you get closer, that means you're hihut.
So does that mean hihut means near?
Near or close. You are absolutely correct. Now, which tauta comunidad do you think we want to say that they're hihut?
Secretaria.
Ooh, I like that. So let's say that in Chamorro. Are we ready?
Hungan.
Maulik. Hihut y secretaria. Let's try that one more time. Ready?
Hungan.
Hihut y secretaria. Maulik. All right, our next adjective is tagu.
Ooh.
Tagu.
It's just like the car, but it's away, so I'm going to guess it's far.
Hungan. Tagu means far because this is your car and you are moving away from the building. That means you're moving farther and farther away.
Sagu.
Hungan. Now, which tauta comunidad should we choose for the adjective tagu?
Alanceru.
Oh, good idea. Ready?
Hungan.
So we want to say that the farmer is far. Are we ready?
Hungan.
Okay, ready? Tagu y lanceru. One more time. Let's try that one more time so our friends can practice more. Are you ready?
Hungan.
Maulik. Tagu y lanceru. The next adjective we're going to learn is nyating.
Nyating.
I'm moving so nyating.
Slow.
Slow. You got it right on the dot. Hungan. Nyating means slow. Now, which tauta comunidad do you think is slow?
An infant meta?
Okay, you want to say that the nurse is slow? All right, let's try that out. Ready? Nyating y enfermera. Let's try that one more time so our friends out there can hear it.
Let's
Ready?
make it a slow vibe.
Nyating Eve, infit mera. Mauliki natin.
Jesus maasi.
Buen provecho.
That's all for today. I hope you guys practice using the Tautau Comunidad in Samoru.
Remember, pescador, infit mera, maestra, lancero, van, secretaria. Can you tell them the adjectives, Sinatan?
Kihut, sagu, nyating. That's all for today.
Adios.
Adios.
Fast, fun facts. Fast, fun facts. With Mr. Ernest Ochoco. Hola and ¿cómo estás? That's how you say hello and how are you in Espanol, Spanish. And Spanish is one of the main languages spoken throughout South America. And in South America, they have a legend about a lost city called El Dorado. You kind of have to roll your tongue so it sounds right. So let's try it again. El Dorado, the lost city of gold. And that is our fast fun fact today. Gold. Now, did you know that geologists believe that almost all of the gold on Earth came from outer space? That's right. They believe it came from meteor showers from about 2 billion years ago. And those meteor showers probably happened because of a collision of exotic stars that smashed together. Now, did you know that some gold is edible? Well, some gold, right? Not all gold. You can't go around eating like gold aluminum foil because that's gonna kill you, or gold wrappers, or don't bite on people's necklaces or their bracelets, right? Don't do that, that's not good. But some chefs do use gold in their food, some edible gold, in their desserts and in their savory foods. Yum. Now, did you know that gold is AU in the periodic table? It's called AU. AU guys! Hey, you guys! AU is derived from the Latin word aurum, A-U-R-U-M, which means shining light or shining dawn. And aurum is from the name of the goddess Aurora, which is the goddess of the dawn. Well, that is your fast fun fact from Mr. Ernest Ochoco, and it's all about gold. See you next week. Bye.
Hafa students, I'm Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. For more than a year now, you all have continued to wash your hands and watch your distance from others, and you've done a really great job wearing your masks. We know your parents and guardians have helped you to make these changes to keep yourself and your community safe. As Governor Leon Guerrero said, we are happy you are here. We want you to continue to learn and sharpen your skills with the help of PBS University. This program is the result of a collaborative effort. We couldn't do it alone. I'd like to thank the teachers and support staff of the Guam Department of Education and PBS Guam for their work and their commitment to our students. I'd also like to thank you students for participating at home. To your parents, I'd like to thank you for taking an active role in your child's education. We are all eager to return to a time when all of us can share and study together in person. Until then, we hope you learned something new from this PBS University instruction.